Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 7. The Voyage of Maeldun. The Island of the Women. Here they found the rampart of a mighty dune, enclosing a mansion. They landed to look on it, and sat on a hillock nearby. Within the dune they saw 17 maidens, busy at preparing a great bath. Well, of course, a shit full of men is going to be peeping Toms, right? Oh, not necessarily, but in a little while, a rider, richly clad, came up swiftly on a racehorse, and lighted down, and went inside, one of the girls taking the horse. The rider then went into the bath. When they saw that it was a woman, shortly thereafter, one of the maidens came out and invited them to enter, saying, "The queen invites you." They went into the fort and bathed, and then sat down to meat, each man with a maiden over against him, and Maeldun opposed to the queen. And Maeldun was wedded to the queen, and each of the maidens to one of his men. And at nightfall, canopied chambers were allotted to each of them. On the morrow morn, they made ready to depart, but the queen would not have them go, and said, "Stay here, and old age will never fall on you. But ye shall remain as ye are now, forever and ever. And what ye had last night shall ye have always. And be no longer a wandering from island to island on the ocean." She then told Maeldun that she was the mother of the 17 girls they had seen, and her husband had been king of the island. He was now dead, and she reigned in his place. Each day she went into the great plain in the interior of the island to judge the folk, and returned to the dune at night. Well, there are people who've had that many children, some people even more, so I mean that's been established. But it could mean something, and I've brought up what 17 can mean a lot. So they remained there for 3 months of winter, but at the end of that time it seemed that they had been there 3 years. And the men wearied of it, and longed to set forth for their own country. "What shall we find there," said Maeldun, "that is better than this?" But still the people murmured and complained, and at last they said, "Great is the love which Maeldun has for his woman. Let him stay with her alone if he will, but we will go to our own country." But Maeldun would not be left after them, and at last one day, when the queen was away judging the folk, they went on board their bark and put out to sea. Before they had gone far, however, the queen came riding up with a clue of twine in her hand, and she flung it after them. Maeldun caught it in his hand, and it clung to his hand, so that he could not free himself, and the queen, holding the other end, drew them back to land. And they stayed on the island another 3 months. Twice again the same thing happened, and at last the people averred that Maeldun held the clue on purpose, so great was his love for the woman. So the next time another man caught the clue, but it clung to his hand as before. So De Uron smote off his hand, and it fell with the clue into the sea. When she saw that, she at once began to wail and shriek, so that all the land was one cry, wailing and shrieking. And thus they escaped from the island of the women. See, even when people have it good, people want it more. So let's not suffer over what we can have. 17. What is 17? Gathas to say throughout the day. Rakat of a salat to say in a night and a day. By throughout the day, I meant a night and a day, sort of thing. Various other things representing religious requirements and that sort of thing. And it's also a rather mythic age in terms of females. But we have 17 individuals, so